welcome to Embrace the Madness, a brand new podcast debuting today. Welcome to the first episode. My name's Madeline. I will be your host on this beautiful journey. I have been thinking about doing this for quite some time, and it's finally coming true. I finally just managed to get control of my discipline and do what makes me feel good. So thanks for joining. I'll probably want to do at least one a week, probably Monday mornings, just to get your week started. Keep checking in, keep listening, and I look forward to exploring life with you. So I'm sure a lot of you know me from my blog, Madly in Love. I've been keeping up with it for, 5 years maybe. And I'll get into a little bit more about that. So if you have read that, you probably know kind of where this podcast is going to go. And if not, this is kind of just a whole journey and exploration through your feelings, your emotions, a bunch of just crazy things that we share in common as humans, how to manage your suffering, how to make the most out of your life. Yeah, I think it'll be super, super cool. So if that is something you're interested in, stick around. In this first episode, I'll kind of just start by talking about who I am, what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, how I got to discover my love for writing, which led to my blog, how I want to use my experiences to share with you, and I guess what I kind of plan to accomplish by starting this podcast. So let's get started. Well, first off, my name's Madeline, and I guess I can kind of start with why I wanted to do a podcast versus my blog. And I really love keeping up with my blog. I've discovered that writing really helps me process a lot of things that are going on in my life, my emotions and feelings. So I've gotten to be really good at communicating how I feel. And I think that's a skill that a lot of people want to develop. And honestly, it just takes a lot of practice. But for me transitioning into this podcast, I guess I kind of figured a lot of people don't like to read. Reading 2,000 words doesn't sound appealing to some people. And for some people it does. And there's my audience. But I think now, just with the way things are transforming and evolving, it's so much easier to listen to someone talk for 30 minutes or play something when you're at the gym or on your way to work or something. And so it just seems like a more feasible means of communication. So I think I just need to act on that and grow and evolve my blog and kind of see where this takes me. And it kind of helps to talk things through too. Sometimes for me, I can't really talk about it unless I write about it first and kind of make sense of it. But I guess this will be practice for me thinking on my feet and just having kind of that dialogue with you guys. So how this whole writing thing got started, I studied abroad, I think back in 2014, and I was living with my grandma at the time, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to call over the phone because it would be too expensive and, So I was like, hey, I can just kind of keep a diary and a journal online so that my grandma, but really anyone, like all my family, could read and keep up with and kind of just hear things from my perspective and my voice while I'm away. And so I did that, and I really, really enjoyed posting and writing and kind of reflecting on my experiences, and it just really made me appreciative and thoughtful, and really just helped me discover that I love to write. And so when I got home, there was no more need for my study abroad blog because I was just at home. So I was like, well, what can I do to start a new blog and kind of do something that's meaningful for me. And so with this new skill of reflecting and expressing myself, I was like, hey, well, I can just reflect on my experiences that I have in my day-to-day life and share that. Because, I mean, we're all humans and we all have brains, we all have hearts, and we are all here trying to survive on this planet. So surely we're going to go through some similar experiences. And I think they're really scary when we feel isolated and alone. But for me, I realized that we're all going through, I guess, different forms of the same thing. And it's really helpful to know that you're not alone, and talking about stuff makes everything better. But yeah, that's kind of where I was at with that. And so my whole kind of tagline for my blog was learning to love and embrace the inner madness. So you can probably guess what came next. I thought that would be a cool idea for my podcast. So I'm kind of going to explore a lot of the same things and themes, but just in an easier form. And then let's see. So if you don't know me, my name's Madeline, and I'll kind of give you like a background of like how I even got to where I'm at. So I did my undergraduate in psychology, and at first I thought I wanted to go on a grad school and get a PhD in neuroscience, doing research. And so my last semester of college was loaded with biology and labs, and I was trying to double major in French too. And so it was just really kind of intense. So I was like, okay, cool. I'll take this stretching and breathing class to kind of just fill space, fill credits, but also have that mental break. Well, so it was like a beginner yoga class. And I mean, it didn't really hit me until I guess probably after the class. But it began this huge, awesome snowball effect where I would learn things with regards to stretches or poses and then realize that they had these overarching themes that could be applied in real life. And I thought that was super cool. And just learning to be patient and trust yourself, and something's going to be scary, but you kind of have to lean into it. Don't kind of dwell in that pain, but just lean into being uncomfortable physically, but also like metaphorically. And it just changed my whole world. And so then I kind of realized, I don't think I want to work in a lab for the rest of my life. I feel like I want to go out and explore what the world has to offer. And that's not to demean anyone that is in that field, because I think that it's a necessity and research is super important, super awesome. But for me, I just feel like my journey was kind of taking a different direction. And it's kind of all in that same time period when I started to become very, very, very self-aware. And I think yoga probably teaches you that, to be self-aware of your body and learn to feel and tune into certain muscle groups and stuff like that. But I just realized also on an emotional level, I just was not, it's like I was aware of my emotions, but I wasn't aware of, I guess, a relationship with them. And so it kind of jump-started this whole process of waking up. And it probably only happened a few years ago, because I was asleep for a long time. And I feel like I spent a lot of that time hurting others, but also hurting myself. And now that I've kind of woken up, I don't even know how I could turn around and go back. And I think that there's a lot of us that are still sleeping. And I don't think it's it's not anything inherently bad. I think it just is. But I think there's just so much unawareness that exists. And that's okay. But I do think that becoming conscious of your existence and your true nature helps you to realize your true potential and how powerful you are. And that's something that I've learned recently helps you kind of live life on your terms, living with full intention, making choices for yourself and not just kind of letting life take you. And I really feel that it creates a positive experience for yourself, but also for everyone around too, because then you're not like me where I was just unconscious and hurting other people because I thought that I knew what I wanted, but I didn't. And I think you know where I'm going with that. So all this is happening in my life, and I start thinking about my strengths and what I could possibly do with my life that would be meaningful for me and also benefit everyone else. And it kind of led me to wanting to discover and explore my purpose. And I really think that this whole self-discovery journey has completely illuminated things for me. And I think that because of the traits that I have, that it puts me in the running to help everyone else kind of wake up and realize their purpose and realize their power and help them find their gifts so that they can share them with the world. And it just really, really warms my heart to remind everyone to be their true selves and to share your love with the world. And I think that that's something important, especially with today's world. I think we need so much love, and I think if you're willing to give it and willing to express yourself and be kind, then it's definitely a good solution for changing things. And I feel like I can do that by inspiring others through my experience and the wisdom that I've gained, and also just reflecting on it all. And really, it's like crazy. Just ever since I got started doing this, I just don't want to stop, and I want to keep going, and I want to start a revolution. I know it takes a lot of people, and I think we're on our way. But I think that just this whole journey of self-care and self-awareness just helps us kind of understand and put meaning to what we're doing here and what our role is in the world during our time here. And I think that when we can all realize that we are all humans and we all have to deal with this crazy society that we got born into and layers of conditioning, I think that if we realize that we can do this together, dude, there's not going to be anything that can stop us. And I think that it'll help us create the best possible life experience we have, because we don't have very much time. And I think we're all kind of aware of that. Some of us haven't really fully accepted that, but I think it's important to always remember we're not going to be here forever, and why not make it the best place possible? And like I was talking about, just being in this crazy society and conditioning, there's a lot of darkness. And I think a lot of it is a lot of just not being conscious of things, but there's so much beauty and good things that are still out there, that joy is still possible, even when you feel like you're kind of just being closed in. And I just want everybody to be aware of that and be aware of their power and truly step into who that they were meant to be, so that we can create this world for ourselves and just kind of take accountability for what we're doing here. So going back to the podcast, I kind of started with this mission statement. By living intentionally, we can optimize our happiness and fulfillment of the human experience, a survival guide for living in this chaotic universe as a human, always remembering our divine nature. So my audience, I guess it's really just those who are interested in learning more about themselves and the universe. Those of you who are already kind of falling in love with discovering yourself and want to explore more. And really just, I'm gonna talk about things that we can adopt in our daily life to live with intention, and how to cope with some things that seem really difficult. It seems kind of general right now, but I think once I kind of get this introduction and first few episodes through, it'll kind of start narrowing down on what's up. And kind of just the whole gist of the podcast lends to living our best lives, really just is about respecting ourselves and others and being kind and compassionate and creating our own meaning in this life, so that we kind of have a direction and a purpose for how we want to live. And I'll definitely get into that in a later episode. So for now, I guess that's really all I wanted to cover in the first episode. Kind of just starting out, here's where I am in my journey, here's how I got here, here's where we're going. And so for the next episode, I'm going to explore kind of what we're doing here, literally, what we're doing on this planet, kind of our existence as humans, and this evolving consciousness that has been happening through the evolution of organisms and life here on Earth. So, like I said, I'm going to post weekly. Be on the lookout on Monday mornings. And if that changes, I'll let you guys know for sure. But yeah, just 30 minutes to brighten your week. And I can't wait to see where this journey takes us. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Madeline with Embrace the Madness, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Thanks again for tuning into this week's episode of Embrace the Madness. Don't forget to subscribe so you can learn to live your best life.